The sun sank lower in the sky, casting elongated shadows across the harsh landscape of Valoria. Little Mia, a curious 9-year-old with wild curls bouncing off her shoulders and eyes that sparkled with wonder, darted through the narrow paths of her village. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, mingling with an unspoken tension that seemed to hang over the place. Her grandfather, a weary old man whose sun-beaten skin was etched with countless lines, had warned her time and again about the Verda, the fierce, mysterious tribe of women dwelling deep within the Forbidden Grove. He spoke of their ferocity and insatiable hunger, of how no human who ventured into their domain ever returned. Yet, the stories whispered on the wind lured Mia, sparking a curiosity that outshone her fear. "Mia, stay close," her grandfather's voice boomed, dragging her back to reality. "There's still danger, and the forest isn't a place for a child." "I know, Grandpa," Mia replied, her voice trembling with a mix of defiance and excitement. "But what if they're not monsters? What if they're just like us?" Her grandfather's eyes searched hers, full of a fatherly concern. "Those women are hungry, Mia. Hunger turns us into beasts." Despite his warnings, Mia's adventurous spirit pulled her toward the forest's edge, where the trees loomed like dark sentinels. As she stepped into the dense, shadowy depths of the Forbidden Grove, the world around her transformed. The air grew heavier, the silence punctuated only by rustling leaves and the distant cries of unseen creatures. Every shadow seemed like a potential threat, every rustle a herald of something unknown. The stories of the Verda, women with shimmering eyes and powers beyond comprehension, flooded her mind. Suddenly, a series of swift movements caught her attention. Mia froze, her breath catching as figures emerged from the underbrush. The Verda were upon her, their eyes glimmering with an unsettling intensity, moving with a grace both captivating and terrifying. They encircled her like predators assessing their prey. One of the Verda, her dark hair cascading in waves around a face that was both beautiful and fearsome, spoke with a smooth, commanding voice. "What do we have here? A lost little human wandering into our domain. Do you not fear for your life, child?" Mia's heart raced, a tumultuous mix of fear and exhilaration flooding her veins. "I'm not afraid," she stammered, summoning every ounce of courage she had. "I came to see if you could help." Another Verda stepped forward, her expression a blend of skepticism and intrigue. "Help with what? We need nothing from your kind." Mia took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. "The Thyr are attacking my village. I thought maybe we could work together. You need food, and we need protection. We could help each other." The Verda exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from suspicion to contemplation. The tension in the air was palpable, the weight of Mia's words hanging heavily between them. She had ventured into the heart of the unknown and now stood on the brink of something profound. "Very brave, little human," the first Verda said slowly, a hint of amusement in her voice. "But bravery often leads to foolishness, and foolishness can be deadly in these woods." Mia squared her shoulders, determination shining in her eyes. "Maybe, but sometimes it's the only way to survive." The Verda stared at her, their fierce eyes glimmering with a mixture of hunger and curiosity. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move in this dangerous game. In the Verda camp, the air was thick with anticipation and the earthy scent of rain. Mia stood trembling yet resolute, her small figure dwarfed by the towering women surrounding her. The Verda, formidable with their sharp, angular features and fierce expressions, regarded her with a mix of suspicion and curiosity. Their piercing eyes glimmered with a hunger that was not solely for food, but perhaps for something deeper, a connection. I bring gifts," Mia stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. She held out her meager supplies, a handful of dried fruits and a small pouch of nuts, the last remnants of her own dwindling provisions. The offerings seemed trivial in the presence of the Verda, yet they carried the weight of her courage. The Verda exchanged puzzled glances, their expressions shifting from predatory to perplexed. Shira, the imposing leader, stepped forward with a commanding presence. Tall and regal, she radiated authority. "You offer us food?" she asked, her tone a mix of disbelief and intrigue. "Why do you come here, human child?" Mia straightened her back, summoning every ounce of bravery. "Because I know you're suffering," she replied, her blue eyes wide with determination. "The Thier have taken everything from both of us. We need to help each other." The silence that followed was heavy. The Verda, known for their ferocity and hunger, were taken aback by the audacity of this small human girl. Shira studied Mia, her brow furrowing in contemplation. "You speak of an alliance, yet you stand alone, surrounded by enemies." "I'm not alone," Mia insisted, her voice gaining strength. "I have my people, and you have yours. We can fight together against the Thier. We can be stronger together." Shira's sharp gaze pierced through Mia's bravado. "What do you know of our plight, child?" she demanded, crossing her arms over her chest. "You are but a child, and we are warriors." "I know what it's like to lose everything," Mia replied, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. "My family, my parents, they were taken from me by the Thier. I've seen what they can do. I'm not afraid of you." A murmur rippled through the gathered women, and Shira's expression softened slightly. "You have spirit, little one, but spirit alone will not save you. You will be our captive until we decide what to do with you." As Mia was led deeper into the camp, she felt a mix of fear and a flicker of hope. The Verda world was unlike anything she had ever seen. Strange symbols carved into the trees, tints woven from shimmering fabrics, and an air of mystique surrounding their every movement. Despite her captivity, she realized she was being treated with cautious respect, not as prey but as something more. "Let me learn your language," Mia implored one of the younger Verda women, Alara, who had been assigned to watch over her. "I want to understand you." Alara looked surprised but nodded slowly. "You wish to learn our tongue? It is difficult." "I can try," Mia replied, her enthusiasm shining through. "Please, I want to help." Days turned into weeks as Mia immersed herself in Verda culture. Each lesson in their language revealed layers of complexity in their stories, struggles, and deep-rooted traditions that had defined them long before the Thier arrived. She learned of their fierce connection to the land, their sacred rituals, and the devastating losses they had endured. "Why don't you fight back?" Mia asked one evening as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the camp. Alara sighed, her eyes reflecting deep sorrow. "We have lost too many. We are but shadows of what we once were. But if we unite our strengths, we can reclaim our homes." Mia's heart raced with the possibilities. "Together, we can be stronger than we are apart." Alara looked at her, a glimmer of hope igniting in her gaze. "You think so?" "I know so," Mia affirmed, her determination solidifying in that moment. A bond began to form, not just between two young girls from different worlds, but a connection that could bridge the chasm of fear and animosity dividing their people. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the Verda camp, Mia sat cross-legged on the damp forest floor. Her heart swelled with a mix of excitement and trepidation as the towering figures of the Verda women surrounded her, their fierce faces softened by curiosity and something resembling hope. Among them was Alara, her deep-set eyes mirroring Mia's own wild curls. "Tell me more about your world," Alara urged, her voice a melodic whisper that danced through the cool evening air. "It's not so different from here," Mia replied earnestly, thinking of her home. "We have forests and rivers, but they're filled with laughter and joy, not fear." Alara's expression darkened slightly. "Fear is all we've known since the Thier came. They took our lands, our families. We are but shadows of what we once were." Mia felt a pang of sympathy. "I know what it's like to lose everything. The Thier destroyed my home too. I came here hoping to find a way to help both our peoples." The Verda women exchanged glances, their eyes glinting with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. Shira stepped forward, her presence commanding immediate respect. "You speak of unity, little human, but how can we trust you? What would you have us believe, that you can save us?" "I don't want to save you alone," Mia insisted, her voice steady despite the weight of their gazes. "I want us to save each other. If we work together, we can stand against the Thier. They are our common enemy. We're stronger together." A silence fell over the group as the gravity of her words hung in the air. Finally, Alara spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "What do you propose?" Mia's heart raced as she considered the enormity of the plan brewing in her mind. "We need to gather our resources and share our knowledge. You know the forest and its secrets better than anyone. We need that to outsmart the Thyr. In return, we can offer food and shelter. Your people have strength we can't match, and we have numbers." Shira's brow furrowed as she contemplated the proposal. "It is dangerous to trust. My people have suffered greatly at the hands of humans before. Why should we believe you will not betray us?" "Because I am just a girl who lost her family," Mia responded with rising passion. "I have nothing to gain from lying to you. If we don't act, we will all perish one way or another." Shira studied her closely, weighing her words. "You risk your life to come here. You've offered food to those who were ready to make a meal of you. Perhaps there is a flicker of truth in your words." Alara nodded, her eyes brightening with newfound hope. "I believe in you, Mia. If we can find a way to work together, maybe we can drive the Thyr from our lands." "Then it's settled," Shira declared, her heart pounding in her chest. "We will unite. I will teach you about our ways, and you will teach me about yours. Together we will build a plan." The Verda women exchanged nods, the tension of distrust slowly beginning to melt away. Shira finally extended her hand, a rare gesture of peace. "Very well, little human. Let us see if your words hold truth. We will share our knowledge. Together, we shall fight." Mia reached out, grasping Shira's hand with a firm shake, sealing the pact. In that moment, she felt a surge of energy flow between them, a promise of solidarity that transcended their differences. As the stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Mia knew they had started something significant. She glanced at Alara, who smiled back, eyes sparkling with determination. They were no longer just a human girl and an alien tribe. They were allies bound together by a shared purpose. And in that bond, Mia felt a flicker of hope that had eluded her for so long. The sun had set, painting the village of humans in hues of crimson and gold as Mia approached the gathering place with a mixture of excitement and dread. She had spent weeks among the Verda, learning their stories, struggles, and fierce resilience. Now she stood at the precipice of a monumental decision, one that would require her to bridge the chasm of fear and misunderstanding between two worlds. As she entered the village square, the familiar faces of her fellow colonists turned toward her with expressions of curiosity and suspicion. Whispers buzzed through the crowd like angry bees, the tales of her encounters with the Verda echoing ominously in their minds. Mia took a deep breath, her heart pounding. She raised her hands to silence them. "I know you are afraid," she began, her voice steady despite the tremor of anxiety coursing through her. "But I've seen what the Thyr are capable of. They will not stop until we are all destroyed. The Verda are not our enemies. They are victims just like us." A murmur rippled through the crowd, and an older man stepped forward, his brow furrowed with skepticism. "And you trust these creatures? They've taken our lands, our people. Why should we believe they will fight alongside us?" "Because they are just as desperate as we are," Mia replied, her voice rising with passion. "I've seen their pain, their hunger. They have lost so much to the Thyr. Together, we can be stronger than we are apart." A woman in the back, clutching a child to her side, spoke up, her voice quivering with fear. "What if they betray us? What if they turn on us when we're at our weakest?" Mia shook her head, her wild curls bouncing. "I understand your fear, but we have no choice. The Thyr are coming, and if we don't unite, we will surely fall." The tension in the air was palpable, and the villagers exchanged uncertain glances. Finally, Shira, the imposing leader of the Verda, stepped forward, her presence commanding immediate respect. The Verda had arrived stealthily, blending into the shadows, their fierce eyes watching the humans with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Your words ring true, young one," Shira said, her voice deep and resonant. "But trust must be earned. We are a proud people and do not take alliances lightly. What can you offer us in this pact?" Mia felt the weight of the moment settle upon her shoulders. "I can offer you food supplies, anything we can spare. But more than that, I can offer you hope. Together, we can drive the Thyr away from our lands. Shira narrowed her eyes, considering Mia's proposition. You speak of hope as if it is a tangible weapon. Hope can be a double-edged sword. Are you prepared to face the consequences of your words? Yes, Mia replied, her voice unwavering. I know the risks, but I also know that if we do nothing, we will lose everything. After a long, tense silence, Shira nodded slowly. Very well. If we are to unite, we will see if your words hold truth. We will share our knowledge. Together, we shall fight. As the crowd began to murmur with a mix of uncertainty and cautious optimism, Mia realized that this was only the beginning. The path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but it was also filled with the potential for something transformative. The alliance between her people and the Verda was now set in motion, but the true test would be whether they could overcome their past grievances and work together against the looming threat of the Thyr. With the stars twinkling in the twilight sky, Mia stood on the edge of a new chapter, where every step would be a step toward an uncertain future. What challenges lay ahead, and whether their alliance would withstand the trials to come, remained to be seen. The forest of Valoria was dense and ancient, its towering trees stretching skyward like gnarled fingers, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Mia crept cautiously along the forest floor, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The stories about the Verda, the enigmatic tribe of women said to dwell deep within these woods, had captivated her imagination and spurred her to action. Her grandfather's warnings echoed in her mind, but the fear in his voice only fueled her determination. The Verda were reputed to be fierce, their hunger for food so great that they were said to be willing to attack anyone who ventured too close. Yet, Mia believed there was more to the tribe than the legends suggested. She believed they were not the monsters they were made out to be. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting elongated shadows that danced and twisted with the shifting light. The forest's eerie beauty was both alluring and foreboding. Mia's small frame, dressed in her worn but sturdy clothes, seemed insignificant amidst the grandeur of nature. She carried a modest bundle of provisions, dried fruits, nuts, and a few pieces of bread, items she had managed to scavenge from her village. As she pressed deeper into the forest, the underbrush thickened, and the air grew cooler, heavy with the scent of moss and damp earth. The silence was almost oppressive, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a bird. Mia's eyes were wide with both fear and curiosity, her footsteps barely making a sound. Suddenly, a crackling noise from behind a nearby thicket made her freeze. Her heart skipped a beat as figures emerged from the shadows. The Verda were here, their presence unmistakable. Tall and imposing, their faces were partially hidden beneath hoods, but their eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity. They moved with a grace that was both mesmerizing and terrifying, their gazes fixed intently on the small, brave intruder. One of the Verda, her features sharp and regal, stepped forward. Her eyes, a piercing shade of green, locked onto Mia with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice a low, melodious growl. "A human child, daring to intrude upon our sacred ground." Mia swallowed hard, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched her bundle of food. I came to offer help," she said, her voice steadying despite the fear that gnawed at her insides. "I know you're suffering. The Thyr have taken so much from both of our people. I thought we might help each other." The Verda leader studied her with a critical eye, her expression inscrutable. "You offer us food?" she asked, her tone dripping with skepticism. "And you come alone? This is a dangerous place for a child." Mia nodded, her heart racing. "Yes, I know. But I thought that if we could find a way to work together, we might be able to drive the Thyr away from both our lands." The Verda leader's gaze softened slightly, but her skepticism remained. "You think that a child's courage and a few provisions can change our fate? We have suffered much, and we are wary of those who seek to exploit our vulnerability." Mia took a deep breath, her determination shining through her fear. "I don't want to exploit you. I just want to help. My village is in danger, and I know that if we don't unite, we will all be lost." I can offer more than just food. I can offer my knowledge of the Thyr's movements, my people's skills. Together, we could be stronger. The Verda leader's eyes narrowed, considering Mia's words. The other Verda women stood silently, their expressions a mix of wariness and curiosity. After a moment of tense silence, the leader stepped closer, her gaze piercing. You speak with conviction, child, but trust is not given lightly. If you wish to prove your intentions, you must first demonstrate that you can withstand the trials of our world. Mia nodded, her heart pounding with both fear and determination. I'm ready. I know the risks, but I believe in this. I believe in what we could achieve together. The Verda leader seemed to weigh Mia's words carefully before nodding. Very well. You will be allowed to stay with us for a time, but under close observation. If your actions prove your sincerity, we may consider your offer. As the Verda women led Mia deeper into their encampment, she marveled at the sight before her. The Verda's camp was unlike anything she had seen. Tents woven from shimmering materials that seemed to glow softly in the dim light, intricate symbols carved into trees, and a sense of ancient power that hung in the air. Despite the tribe's fierce reputation, Mia saw glimpses of their humanity, faint smiles, quiet conversations, and a shared sense of purpose that transcended their struggle. The Verda set up a small area for Mia to rest, their curiosity mingled with a guarded respect. Alara, a younger member of the tribe with eyes that held both sadness and hope, was assigned to watch over her. You're brave to come here, Alara said softly, her voice tinged with empathy. Many would have turned back, but you chose to face the unknown. Mia offered a tired smile. I had to try. I can't just sit by and watch everything fall apart. I need to do something. Alara nodded, a flicker of admiration in her gaze. You will have a chance to prove yourself. But remember, trust is something that takes time. Show us that you mean what you say. Mia spent the following days learning about the Verda's way of life. She helped with their daily tasks, learned their customs, and slowly gained their trust. The Verda, once suspicious, began to see Mia's genuine desire to help. She shared what she knew about the Thyr's tactics, and the Verda's leader, Shira, began to see the potential for a real alliance. Despite the growing camaraderie, the threat of the Thyr loomed ever larger. Each day, the tension in the forest grew, as whispers of Thyr movements spread through the Verda camp. The need for a united front became increasingly urgent. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to appear, Mia stood with Shira and Alara at the edge of the camp. The air was crisp and filled with the scent of pine and earth. Shira's gaze was distant, her expression thoughtful. You've proven yourself, Shira said, her voice carrying the weight of decision. We are willing to consider an alliance. But know this, the path ahead will be fraught with danger. We must be prepared for everything. Mia nodded, her heart swelling with a mixture of relief and apprehension. I understand, and I'm ready to face whatever comes. As the darkness settled around them, the Verda camp buzzed with a newfound energy. Plans were drawn up, strategies discussed, and alliances forged. Mia felt a glimmer of hope that perhaps, despite the odds, there was a chance for their people to stand together against the encroaching threat. In the heart of the Forbidden Grove, amidst the shadows of ancient trees and the whispers of old magic, a fragile alliance began to take shape. Mia, once a small, curious girl with a simple dream, now stood at the forefront of a movement that could change the fate of two worlds. The path ahead was uncertain, but with every step, the promise of unity and strength grew stronger, illuminating the darkness with the hope of a brighter future.